Hello, Aries, and welcome to your June 2020 forecast. I hope everybody's doing great. Really looking forward to talking today because we have a lot of information coming through. As one of my moderators was saying, today is full moon, and it's a great time on a full moon to wrap up things, and what a great time also to set some goals for the next cycle here. So I'm going to put down Apollo and let's get started. A lot to talk about, which is why I wanted to start a couple minutes early. So first and foremost, I'd like to welcome back everybody that has been joining me over the past 5 or 6 months, or maybe 5 years. It's so good to see everybody again. And if you're brand new, let me begin just by introducing who I am and talking a little bit about what we're going to do today. Okay, so my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and this is for the month of June. We're going to be looking at the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, and what I like to do is separate this into a few distinct parts just to kind of help keep everything organized. I begin with channeled information, and this comes to me when I meditate right before the reading. And as is the case often when I do a live reading, I'm often getting messages even in my sleep or as I wake up. I'm starting to sort of receive that. So I've taken some time this morning and recorded all of that on the cards here, these index cards that I write on, and I'll share that with you. After that, we'll use tarot cards and look at a Celtic Cross, and that'll give us the blueprint for everything that's coming through for the month, the opportunities, some of the challenges, and all the choices that you get to make that can really affect your outcome for the month ahead. After this, I like to expand the forecast to look at areas I know that everybody's curious about, or at least that I want to look at too, which is matters of health, wealth, love, and destiny. And these give us like additional lenses that we can put over top of the spread and learn new things. And then at the end, we're going to be focusing on healing. Each month that I show up, there's sort of a theme for it. We've been looking at ways to reinvent ourselves, places where we could change or move into this sort of shifting opportunities. And as I connected with my guides this morning and really thought, what is it that needs to happen? I think a lot of us just want to feel better. So whether you have maybe been one of the people that have been affected by being sick and you need healing, or you just want to emotionally heal, that's really what we're going to focus on in the latter part. And we'll pull some cards looking at past, present, and future influences that will help with healing. And then we're going to see messages coming throughout the reading today. So I'll integrate those into a meditation that will follow. So it's a nice action-packed hour ahead, lots going through this, and I hope you can stay for everything. I'd like to take a moment to welcome, again, everybody that showed up. Thank my moderators, Ryan and Maria. They'll be here to answer high-level questions if you have any. I also want to talk a little bit about how I work with Super Chat, because I know every reader is a little bit different. For me, it's just really a way to say thank you. So if you don't know what that is, by the way, Super Chat, you can click on this little icon here next to the emojis and basically put a picture of a rainbow, unicorns, some sort of a sticker, basically to say thank you, help me continue to buy supplies, which is what it does, and just show support. I don't really do pick a card or Q&A, so sometimes I have separate readings explicitly for that purpose, but today is a general reading. And I just wanted to say that. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what's coming through. And I'll talk a little bit later how you can connect on social media and other things like that. But there's a lot that we need to discuss when it comes to your messages. So I'd like to get started. All right, I separated this into sort of 3 different sections here. And the first thing that came through was this feeling of kind of like catching your breath. And, you know, as we're getting back into sort of in different countries, it's at different paces, right? But there's a gentle sort of desire to re-enter an old sort of, routine, whatever it may be, like going back to school, going back to work, trying to somehow get back to a new normal. The one thing that I was seeing in my meditation and that my guides were saying is just take your time. And to use an analogy that would help for any of you that might have ever been at one point in your time, sort of like desiring to work out, and you think, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to just go all in, and you have a great workout, but the next day you've killed yourself, and then you lose your momentum, or you maybe even make yourself a little bit sick. You want to ease into habits, ease in and out of habits. So if your life has been at a standstill for a little bit and you've kind of been under a new routine, you don't want to shift it 180 and then change everything back to the way it was. maybe you can take a little bit of the lessons that you've learned now and keep some of those things. Also, as you start to reacclimate, it doesn't mean that on day one you're going to go back to the restaurants, go back to everything that you used to do before. Slow and steady, because I feel like, first of all, we're still learning about how everything, especially when it comes to staying well, staying healthy, what we need to do for that. So I think slow and steady wins the race here. And I wrote acclimate slowly or reacclimate slowly, and just take your time. I think this is going to be important no matter what, whether you're easing into working from home or easing into going back to work, school, or sort of social engagements and endeavors. So that's the main message. And it's interesting because it was we had a very similar thing happening around February and March. And so now it's coming back and reminding us, hey, it works both ways. So just take your time. And then I had a very, very clear symbol that came through. I literally saw a list of names, and I saw like you would be at the bottom of this list. So what I'm seeing is that for some of you, there could be a wait list or a backlog that you're experiencing somewhere in your life, whether this is an insurance claim that you're filing, whether this is trying to get in and see a doctor, or maybe you're just trying to get some assistance with something and you don't know who to talk to. What I see right now is that for some of you, it's going to be challenging because you may not be the first in the list. And it would be really, really advantageous to understand that whoever is managing that list, it's not that they don't care about you. I actually just saw it sitting there on the table. And I think that either through, for some of you, like bureaucracy or rules or just a sheer they haven't looked at it. So give this person the benefit of the doubt that they're trying to get caught up. This can also just symbolize like a relationship in your life and someone not showing up the way that you need them to show up. Maybe because they are preoccupied with something else. So I would check in with anybody that you're trying to kind of get their attention and just sort of say, by the way, how are you doing today? Find out if today is the right day to talk about something. And then if it isn't, go at it from a different angle, come a different day, or maybe just be there for them. Say, well, what can I do for you? You seem like you need a lot of help. Because this will break through and could possibly give them, get them out of their own sort of headspace and back into the routine. Just like I'm telling you, it might take time to reacclimate. I think a lot of other people are trying to figure stuff out. So give them the benefit of the doubt. And this is really what we see here, which is listening, try to de-escalate any sort of situations that you feel might be getting out of hand, especially if it's an argument, and try to relieve the tension. It's important to be able to have difficult conversations, right? I think one of the things that you want to try to do is to understand perspective, though, and what that other person might be coming from, what they're going through. And that's going to help you at least sort of empathize with them a little bit. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me just review this quickly, and then we'll get into the cards. Take your time and acclimate yourself to whatever's going on in your life. And for some of you, there may be no change because, unfortunately right now, the world is operating in all these different pockets. So as a reader, I have to kind of look at 2 or 3 outcomes. So if you're just in a sort of stasis, give yourself time to get used to that. If you're either easing in or out of something, also give yourself time. I think it still applies. And if I were to pull a card, I talk about this one a lot, but it's like the 9 of Pentacles where we see that little snail. Progress and sort of independence and this feeling of being able to take care of yourself, it happens over time. It's not quick. Anything worth achieving takes time and energy to get done. And to that sort of end here, there is some waiting and some patience that's required of you this month. But I think that there is a way around this. If you know somebody else, or if you could get together, sort of have like group energy working towards this. It doesn't mean that you physically have to assemble. It means that maybe you could have 2 or 3 other people with the same concern and kind of put them together. That item could go up the list. There's just so much ahead of you, or there's so many other voices kind of coming in that are trying to get attention, that I feel like being heard this month from your perspective could feel frustrating or could be difficult. So try a different person or another approach, or grouping your concern with some others and having it kind of ride on top of that. People in politics do that all the time. It's actually called a rider sort of bill, where you slide it in with something else. That's a way that this could work. And finally, listen, empathize, and de-escalate things before they get out of hand. I have a feeling that the other person isn't trying to make it difficult for you. They're just going through a lot themselves, okay? So let's go ahead now and look at the cards here. I want to say welcome as well to everybody from all the different parts of the world. I see some comments here that some of you are catching me live for the first time. So really happy that you're able to do that. And I think that's one of the great things right now is all of our different schedules are getting shuffled around. Many of you are working from home. So just welcome. I'm glad you were able to make it as well. At this point, I'm going to turn the camera down. I like to remain quiet and focus on the cards and the messages. But right after I lay everything out, we'll go through each and every card and really relate it to you. So let's see what's coming through for June 2020. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being patient, allowing me to get everything laid out here. And let's start with your catalyst card. For me, the catalyst is a way that we can be reminded of how to get into our highest energy, how to really sort of stay out of trouble, if you will. And it's also a North Star or a guiding force in this. Your card was reversed, but I want to pull it in the upright position so you can see the beautiful illustration. It says, Dream Sanctuary, attend to the simple things. When I was first joining, I noticed there were some comments about dreams, and this is a really potent time to be picking up on dreams, not just because of everything that's going on in the world, but we're also at a full moon. I've noticed my own intuition is really, really strong when the moon kind of changes phases, whether it's either a new moon or a full moon. And this is your chance to wrap things up a little bit. If there's anything in your life that you want to release, let go of, get a little bit more perspective on, this is a perfect time for meditation. Your third eye will be very open and you're going to be able to perceive things. And I also want you to kind of work on creating a safe space around your sleep routine, your bedroom, and even just sleeping in general. And I have a meditation that I've done before on an evening ritual that you can do. But one thing that any of you that are curious about how you can really focus on intuitive development, your dreams this month are a powerful method to be more psychic and be more kind of tuned into what's possible this month. The other thing is just talking about setting some dreams and goals in your life. Often when I do a one-on-one with a client, if I'm going to do a reading or some coaching, it's important to me to know what makes them happy, maybe what as a child they were curious and inspired to do, and why they're either on or off that path. So for you, if you've not given yourself permission to think about, possibilities, this is a good time for that, because dreaming and projecting and kind of having that energy of Two of Wands where you're holding that opportunity in front of you, that's what's necessary to make something happen. You have to dream it before you can do it. Athletes are able to do it. Musicians, because they can kind of conceive what an album might be like, they just sort of go for it. So I think this in your life, this is a chance for you to put some sort of like creative seeds out in the world and start to wait for them to grow. But you have to give yourself that chance to sort of develop them and feed them. So feed yourself with dreams, with ideas this month. It's a powerful space in many, many aspects of your life. The center card accentuates what we're talking about. We have the Page of Cups. You have a lot of relationship cards that came through. The Two of Cups is also in the crowning position. So this is very fortunate if you're in an existing relationship. If we have Page of Cups and Two of Cups, I basically see that there's a chance to enrich, to deepen, to get a little bit better knowledge of who you're living with or becoming friends with. So relationship energy is central for you this month. And also just creative energy. So opening up your heart, whether you're going to put that passion into being with somebody or creating something that you love, that's your power this month. So put your heart into it, okay? On top of this, we have also the Ace of Cups. Literally, you have every card that I would be looking for in a relationship read. So Page of Cups, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. I believe that you can take passion and put it anywhere. So just get excited and passionate about what you're doing this month. And if you're not feeling it, chances are other people are either going to be able to pick up on that. So for those of you that are in a job, there's different types of relationships, right? It's not just all about love and romance. It could be a friendship, a family sort of connection, or a work relationship. This is showing that it's important to have that reciprocity. With the Two of Cups, you have each other's back. And the other thing that I see here with the Two of Cups is really making sure that you are protecting one another. So protect your ideas, protect others, protect your space, protect others. Boundaries are going to be very important this month, and protecting your heart space. So I think as long as you are leading with your heart and letting other people also be sensitive, be vulnerable, that's key. That's why when I was looking at the channeled message, listening and de-escalation are going to be really, really important, because if you assume the best, I feel like people can show up and there's a chance for healing to happen this month, which is a good thing. As we look here at your deep past, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So this is a really good card to come through if you're just wanting to work on yourself. And it can be any aspect of your life. It's not always as literal as going to school. It could simply be a desire to improve habits in your life, to cook better, to eat better, to be a little bit better about how you're, meditating and learning more about what makes your own sort of heart and mind tick. So there's basically personal development that can happen. It can also be you deciding to in a more organized way, kind of go back to school or take on some sort of a kind of mentorship opportunity. Definitely, whatever you decide to put your energy into, I see a return on it. This is a good investment. It's in the deep past. So because we're, right now, for many of you that are watching it live, we're at a full moon. And for those of you that are watching it in the month of June, the message here is finish what you started. And so I think this is especially true for the college students and high school students out there, even any non-traditional students that are feeling a sense of frustration over what's going on in their learning cycle. You can do this. That's what this message said. Look how hard you've worked to get where you are. Are you really going to give up now? Just because the rules have changed a little bit. One thing that I would encourage you to think about is, how is this current situation preparing you for the future? The answer is it's going to help you be more flexible. And the challenges you're facing right now will mirror in many ways what happens when you get out in the real world. I can't tell you how many times when I worked in a corporate environment, I would get a call at like 8 p.m. saying, oh yeah, everything that we did for tomorrow's meeting has changed. I need you to work on this. Come in early or stay up all night and work on this. So you will be thrown curveballs sometimes in your life. And once you start to realize, all right, let's make the best of that. I'm going to roll with the punches. You're going to be better able to handle that. So expect the unexpected, bend and flex just like a willow tree would, and don't have to sort of like break or snap. I think that's going to be really important. Flexibility and patience with yourself. As I said at the very beginning, take your time. Don't make any judgments on, I think that for those of you that are deciding like, I want to quit or it's not working, just give yourself a little bit of time to sort out how much of that is a knee-jerk reaction. And once you sort out your feelings, I feel like you might be in a better place. So let's look at what's coming through in recent past. We have Temperance in reverse, and that really is about finding the balance that I was just talking about. And I think some of you are being encouraged to look at your life in general and see where maybe you've put too much energy and put yourself out of balance. So I was talking about, for those of you that might have a really demanding boss, and if you've been burning the candle at both ends, you might just need to sort of say, I need some time off. I need to recharge. Or to sort of say, I can do this, but I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not going to stay up all night to work on this because, you're not staying up all night either. Let's just approach this with a fresh mind in the morning. Find the balance in your life and everything's going to feel a little bit better. Two of Cups, you're not in this alone. And if you are, ask for help, because this is a partnership card. So just as I was saying there, if somebody wants you to do it, something in your life, so like whether it's pick up the pieces of some project, or maybe it's even a family member saying, I need you to come over and do all of this, use the word we, and this is going to then kind of snap that person into realizing it's not all on you. So you could say, sure, let's talk about how we can fix this. When can we start to work on this together? What does your schedule look like? Let me look at mine. We'll make it work. We'll, try to bring the team together on this. I mentioned earlier also that team approach is what might help you get something done. So if you're feeling like I can't do this alone and I'm not breaking through, if you're calling like a customer service line and you're just waiting on hold, see if there's some other method you can use, a different contact method, or again, going through someone or with a larger group, and that's going to help. Basically, power in numbers, even if those numbers are virtual, if that makes sense. By the way, for anybody that is giving back, I just want to say thank you, and I will acknowledge you once this is on replay. Okay, let's look now at near future here. We have the Chariot card and the Chariot's in reverse. So power struggles, adjustments when it comes to who's in charge, and also an ability for many of you to possibly step into a position of more authority than you have before. Especially for those of you that, as I was kind of setting up earlier, if you're more flexible, more comfortable with ambiguity, and you're showing your true colors of being sort of strong, flexible, able to react quickly, then there may be a growth opportunity for some of you. And that's a really cool thing that can come out of change. Whenever we're going through a period of change and adjustment, sometimes recognition, sometimes a change of power can happen. That's something that I'm seeing here. The other thing is making sure that the interesting thing is this one can be looked at from another angle, which is if there's a person in your life that should be doing more. This could be a parent, a boss, anybody in your life that's really kind of in a position of trying to organize or create order, and they're not doing it. Before you do their job, make sure that you kind of let them know what you need, and also make sure that that energy is going to be received in the right way. Because sometimes if you manage up, that person can get defensive and step in and think that you're trying to take their job. So maybe just let them know that you need help with something first, and then if they can't do it, you can do it. So sometimes people need to kind of snap out of their haze, and I feel like some people in your life may be too in their own energy. So again, giving people the benefit of the doubt, asking them for what you need, and then if they can't do it, find another way to get it done. All right, we have the Six of Wands, and this is why I'm kind of focusing on appearances here. I think that it's important to understand optics. That's a fancy word that just sort of means, how does this look to everybody else? And knowing that, especially when it comes to the people that are in a position of power, they may be focused on the optics, and that's also why it's important for you to think intelligently about how you're going to navigate a challenging situation so that you are put in a positive light as well. Now, the other piece of this, if we get out of like corporations, politics and business and all of that, go back to the soul, which is really what I like to focus on here. The Chariot card and the Six of Wands are encouraging you to do what's best for your path. This is, to me, has a very similar energy if we're looking at like the Emperor, the Empress, or the Chariot. This is about, can I control myself, my path? Am I ready to sort of take the reins? Especially with this card, it's about taking the reins. This is about not necessarily creating or adjusting your message just to please others. So if you are an artist, if you are in charge of watching out for people, so maybe you're a lawyer for a company, or you're in public health or safety, this is actually about making sure that you do what's right, even if it's not popular. So sometimes when we do our jobs, we may face criticism, we may lose our job, but it's also what's important. Like, I feel like some of you might be in a moral dilemma right now. Always do what's right. And always, if you can, protect yourself, just document it. If you feel like there might be some sort of heat or pushback, go back to the documentation and say, per this regulation, per this rule, this is the only thing that I could do with a clear conscience. So yeah, there's a couple of messages there depending on what you do, but the key thing here is I think in your heart and soul, you know what to do, and you know what, like when, I think we always know what's right and wrong. Just follow that, and that's going to lead you on the right path this month. As I look at the environment, I'm not surprised to see the Seven of Pentacles. It's reversed, but I want to pull it in the upright position. The Seven of Pentacles can actually show growth and recovery. When it's reversed, sometimes it feels like we're having a hard time catching up to that growth, to that recovery. And there's also sort of a gentle reminder not to let things get out of hand. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, this resource can indicate like, I can't do this all alone. It could just be time and energy. This is where, again, you don't have to. If there's a perfectionist vibe that you're fighting, really work on that this month and know that someone else is there and they can help you. And by the way, you'll probably both prosper and be more successful for that partnership. If it's a money thing, it's a reminder to not tap your resources too much, because eventually you have to be responsible for repaying that. So it's basically just reminding you not to go too far when it comes to spending, when it comes to loans or credit cards. And for personal health and also just intuitive growth, this is a healing card. So looking at your life and thinking, where is it that I really need to focus on improving myself? And if we were to kind of connect Eight of Pentacles with the Chariot, this could be working on accountability, creating like a schedule and a routine, basically just becoming self-sufficient. That's something that many of you can kind of work on and trust yourself. Think, I can do this. That's one thing that I see. And then the other one is just finding better balance across your life. Looking now at your possibilities, which can be things that maybe you're afraid of, maybe you are dreaming about doing, and also maybe just things that could open up to you. We have the Five of Cups. I want to pull this one upright because what we see is a passing storm. And this person's facing the storm, but the clearing's right there. There's still things that are worth embracing. There's even something that might not be within the realm of their perception, but it's there. There's a hidden opportunity. The focus here tends to be on what is right in front of them. Sometimes you have to, this is about having faith, right? You don't always see what's possible, but you have to believe it. You have to, you have to dream something before you can do it, and you have to believe in the possibility for change, for that change to happen. Faith, hope. It's seeing what isn't there, but knowing that it can be done. And that's my message this month, is if there's something you really want in your life, don't give up on it. Don't let it go. The dream deserves your energy, your love. And that's really what we saw here at the Catalyst. And it's coming back now in hopes, fears, and in opportunities. So by the way, I saw that there were some buffering issues. Hopefully the rest of you are seeing it. Let me know if you're having some issues. I just upgraded everything here at my end, so hopefully that's not an issue. All right, with the Six of Pentacles here, this is really about being unafraid to say no in your life. If there's something going on, it's really about smart choices. This is your solution. Thank you for confirming that, by the way. This is your solution to the Seven of Pentacles. Both of these cards are actually on the higher side of your resources. They're choices, making smart choices. So the Six of Pentacles tells me, or tells you, I can do everything that I need to do, as long as I don't get crazy, which means, like, you know, you can't buy everything that you want to buy. You can't indulge in every sort of whim that you want to kind of go on. Just be smart about it and you'll be okay. It also means that when people come to you, you notice that there's a scale that the person's holding and there's a lot of open hands. It's a choice of who you want to invest your time, your energy, and your attention towards or into, because not everybody is going to reciprocate, or not everyone will be appreciative, or especially for those of you that might have more than enough. If you're in a place where you want to just sort of like donate or be a philanthropist, this is basically saying, well, really choose wisely, because that's such a wonderful gift that you want to make sure that things can really grow from that investment. So be discerning, be picky, and ask tough questions, say no. All of these things are going to help empower you to really stretch that coin. And I'm looking at all three of these, and I feel like you're going to be able to navigate it. Eight of Pentacles in the past, which is the knowledge to get through something. 7 of Pentacles in the environment, the ability for things to grow and repair. 6 of Pentacles in the outcome, really focusing on only doing what's necessary, what's best. There's a little bit of triage that comes into that card as well. But ultimately, I like that I see that. That's my base card for being able to make it. The 5 of Pentacles is just scraping by. The 4 of Pentacles, it's tough. It's month to month. Some months you're not making it. But the 6 of Pentacles, you've got it. You just have to make those intelligent decisions, okay? So across everything, that's even like coping with things, because as I said, 7 of Pentacles can be about staying healthy, and healthy is not just, your body, it's also your psychological self. So anyway, these are things that we can look at, and as we expand the forecast here, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I want to focus on the health card, which is coming next. Health for me is multifaceted, just like many of these cards that we're looking at. It incorporates your mind, your body, and your spirit. And what we have here is my energy creates my reality. What I focus on is what I will manifest. What a powerful card, and what an important card when we're talking about being healthy, being happy, being able to create stuff. I was actually watching a medium the other night. I like her a lot, Kim Russo. And let me see if I can remember how she said this. It was like your vibe attracts your tribe. I think that was how she put it. Basically, the frequency that you think in and the activities that you do in your life will pull in both the non-corporeal energy around you, the spirits, the beings, the entities, but it also is going to pull in the people around you. So this is basically saying, I want to elevate myself. My energy creates my reality. If you want a better reality, think in a more constructive way. It's not always about positivity. A lot of times it's just about constructive ways to change your life and looking at things from an objective viewpoint, not sort of so subjective, not worrying about it, maybe even other people's subjectivity in your life. What I focus on is what I will manifest. So if you focus on the negative thoughts and the negative feedback, that's all you feel, that's all that happens, that is your reality. If you focus, like I said earlier, on dreams and possibilities, thank you so much, Tricia. If you focus on dreams and possibilities, then you are going to be able to accomplish that. By the way, it's a cool show if you've never watched it. It's Celebrity Ghost Stories. That's what Kim Russo is a part of. A really good show. She's a legitimate medium, and she always kind of goes to the soul of matters on how to kind of improve yourself. And I like that. So anyway, I'm glad I remembered that quote. Great, because I wanted to impart that message. It was something that really resonated with me last night. By the way, with other health messages here, 7 of Pentacles has to do with nutrition sometimes for when I look at cards. So I think it's important for you to balance things out, not go too far. But this is really showing that for some of you, I feel like you're just splurging too much in one area, either having maybe too much processed food or too much meat or not enough. Whatever's going on, you need to kind of look at it and find more balance in your life. Again, going to the 6 of Pentacles and just deciding, okay, I don't need this tonight, or I haven't had this in a while. Everything in moderation will really go a long way. The other thing with the Chariot card reversed is it's really about changing things up so you're not sitting or driving too much. It can be a car of transportation. So for some of you, there's a mode of transportation that you need to change up or try something new, or because maybe you're not commuting as much as you used to, you're not walking as much. I want you to just focus on getting out of cars and getting out of your seat and getting out of that sort of just stationary space. You need to use your legs. Unless, of course, you're in a wheelchair. This is also showing what you want to do is just focus on full body health and still work out, even if you're somehow disabled or recovering. It's really important to keep the flexibility and keep the movement. I see movement being essential. All right, looking now at wealth, which isn't just money, but sometimes self-worth and sometimes opportunities around you if you're either welcoming them in or pushing them away. The message here has to do with being able to connect with the youth here. It says, you're good at helping, counseling, and healing children. Use your skills to help children now. Gosh, a lot of you are doing this. And it's interesting that this comes up in work, because this is specifically speaking to the parents that might be watching, or some of you that might be students and dealing with like living at home because college is closed, or if you're a parent, you're trying to work from home and your kids are there and it's driving you crazy trying to balance this out. Remember, these are your children. You love them. The job that you have, you're going to figure it out. And I think that also, like, workplaces are going to have to adjust a little bit right now to some of these extenuating circumstances. Love the kids. It's kind of like if my dog throws his toys around a little bit in the background or starts getting crazy, I just know he needs a walk. He needs to go to the bathroom or something. So I just put my stuff down, take a 5-minute or 10-minute walk, come back, and I can get back to work. It's always worth taking that break. If you don't have kids, this reminds me of like 6 of Cups for you, which is get back into that energy of dogs and children, which is sometimes just having fun, sometimes shaking things up a little bit. And the reason that the kids and the children are in our life is to remind us that there's more than just the bills or that meeting. I was talking to an old friend and I said, the one thing that I don't miss at all is all the sort of conference calls that I used to have to get on and all the meetings that didn't lead to anything. And I think for those of you right now that feel like sometimes maybe school and work is everything, this card is saying, create some space for something else. And that's the dream card here. It could be art, it could be reading, it could be Netflix. I'm not judging. Just find something that you can put your energy into that gives you balance, that kind of rounds you out, if that makes sense. We already talked at great length about sort of budgets, so I feel like you've got the message with respect to that. And the other thing that I see here is that people in your life could be really instrumental in helping you get ahead. Community is everything when it comes to advancement particularly for those of you that are in a company. Page of Cups, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups. It's all about the people. Your work product, of course, is important, but I feel like a lot of you already have great attention to detail. So focus on getting to know people and keeping these relationships open and healthy, even now that we have changed the way we are working. So I believe that in the long run, some people may stay remote, even once everything is back to some semblance of normalcy or like a normal sort of routine. But I feel like we've changed things and it's important to keep that connection. So just work on that. And relationship building is going to be super important. It's kind of like account management. There are some people out there that just work on making sure that everybody feels good and feels listened to. And we talked about that in the channeled message as well. Okay, we looked at health and wealth. Let's look at love now. This one's great, actually. This is about, when I look at this, it's about kind of opening up and sharing something about yourself, a vulnerable side, or even feeling like, for some of you, it might be a chance for second chances here. To me, it also looks like a pregnancy card. This is something that's come up so much over the past 5 months. So if you're looking for expansion of your family, wow, you've got a lot of great energy with Page of Cups, Ace of Cups, 2 of Cups, and literally I kind of see new growth coming out there of the stomach area. So for me, this is definitely symbolic of pregnancy. But to me, this is also harmony when it comes to relationships, because I associate that with like the power dynamics that we saw in the Chariot card, the 3rd chakra right around the umbilical cord. So for many of you, you're going to clear out those power dynamics. So healing that can happen between parents and children, healing that can happen between lovers and friends, and also just an ability to regain or to sort of maybe even feel your power for the first time. So there's a lot of things that are coming through in relationships for many of you. There is a chance for many of you also to meet people. It's difficult with all the limitations going on, but you do have the 2 of Cups card there in the crowning position. One thing that I'd like to say, though, and I saw this in my meditation as well, is that I really feel like the time that we're being given right now is a chance for us to sort out our respective lives, everything that's going on, and work on personal development as much as possible. It doesn't have to be at the expense of finding a relationship or developing it, but a lot of the messages I've been receiving psychically and also in the cards has to do with healing yourself. It all starts within, and the more work you do on yourself, the better your relationships are going to be. So we can afford a few months of not having to sort of like have as much physical contact or focus as much on the external relationships. Keep focusing on self-love and healing yourself and healing the existing relationships with others. And I think it's going to be really advantageous. Okay. Let's look now at your outcome card. And for me, this is destiny, but the destiny card here has to do with the destiny that you're creating, because if we go back to health, it says my energy creates my reality, or as I was quoting Kim, your vibe attracts your tribe. So with this card, it's saying expect something wonderful to happen. The card was reversed. That's just for some of you like disbelief. Can I really do this? Is it really possible? Am I worthy? That actually can be part of this message. So you don't have to, like, when I look at this, you could replace Holy Spirit with divine energy or universal flow. These cards are symbolic, so don't let sort of a secular message come through and kind of take you off your vibe. It says, remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. I like that part of it. That's really kind of explaining what it says here. So love is the only currency of the universe that really, really matters. One thing that we've actually noticed right now is that time is a construct. And when you get out of this body and go back into the soul, you're able to sort of experience things, past, present, and future. You see all of the possibilities. When we're here, we have this illusion that there is a today, a tomorrow, and we're focusing so much in creating like these deadlines and milestones that we lose the path a little bit. So with this expect miracles card, another piece that's coming through to me is expect that something could happen sooner. Don't focus so much on the pandemic and how it is going to cut off all these opportunities. Maybe it's going to open up some opportunities that didn't exist as well. So let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about, and then we're going to go a little deeper and look at healing and see what's possible to feel better and to grow in certain areas. We talked about, some of you, it might be financial healing. Some of it might be emotional healing or healing your sort of power, feeling like you're more in control. We'll look more in a moment, but let's review everything we talked about first, just so that we're on the same page. If any of you just joined, welcome. Don't worry, everything that you see here will be available afterwards for replay. So just stay where you're at and enjoy it. And you can always go back and rewatch the beginning. All right, take your time. That was the first thing that came to me. You are not in a sprint. You're not even in a long distance run. You basically, I would say timing doesn't matter. Just do it right. And when we're looking at getting back into a schedule or some new sense of normalcy or normality, the acclimate yourself is saying, don't do it too fast. Just make sure that you are honoring what feels right. You're not being pressured, and you're not giving into anything that sort of just isn't vibing with your spirit. So slowly reacclimate yourself. And I think we're just going to have to look at a new normal. That's a better way to put it. And that's kind of why I'm struggling to try to find the right word for it, because I don't think it exists. I think that we're just reimagining what normal might look like. Okay. Try another way or another approach to get something done, especially if you're feeling like people are not listening. They're in their own world, many of them. And what's important right now is to find another way, or to kind of look at this and think, is it as important as I think it is? A lot of times the way that spirit works, at least in my observation, is that, what takes too much energy or too much time sometimes isn't worth it. So there might be a reason that you're getting some sort of a pushback. And finally, as we see here, listening, de-escalating, and trying to kind of like remove arguments or tension from things. I think that's going to be really, really important as well. So let's go ahead now and look at your catalyst card. It said Dream Sanctuary. The card was reversed for me, but it's actually upright as I pull it to the camera. So one thing that this is kind of telling me is give yourself space, allow yourself to dream. Some of the things that you're looking for already may be in your life. So just allow yourself to kind of go into that realm of possibility. Also, if you're looking for psychic development, there's a lot of energy that comes through dreams. It is one of the strongest places where you start to notice your own intuition. You've got to feel it this month. With the Page of Cups, with the Ace of Cups, and with the Two of Cups, if you're in a job and you're not invested in it, other people will pick up on that. If you are ready for a change and you feel like you have to do it, people will support that change, because the Two of Cups is actually, teamwork, support, love. And the most important thing is that you're showing people in your life why this is important to you, and that passion is going to be what kind of convinces them and brings them to your fold. Ace of Pentacles, finish what you started. That's really what I see here. Whatever it is, a goal, a relationship, a job, school, there's something that has already been embarked upon. Don't let that go away. You work too hard to get where you're at. Temperance reversed. This is really about finding your balance in your life. Again, not getting sort of in a heated conversation or argument, realizing that kind of assuming the best. Once you assume the best of others, they have a chance to show those true colors as well. Love is possible this month. Self-love is the most important, and healing yourself is the most important. And interestingly enough, and I guess even ironically, as you focus less on others and more on sort of healing you and healing your energy, then those relationships improve, and also you become more attractive or magnetic towards higher energies, which was also something that quote that I was talking about really gets behind, which is your higher energy will attract higher frequency living and also non-living things. So, you know, the spirit side and also like human beings. So it's important to get into that high space. Power dynamics, so important this month, whether it's healing a relationship with parents, with your partner, with a business associate. Find your power and trust it. Get into the driver's seat. It's important to look at optics and be aware of that if there's any change that has to happen. But if you're in a position where people depend on you and you're supposed to do something right, then just get the documentation and make a decision. If it's not popular, that's okay, as long as you're backed up by policy, or as long as you're doing what's basically advantageous for everybody else, the higher good. So sometimes unpopular, but sort of morally correct, or again, just protecting other people. That's what's important. We see a lot of this going on with like the closures of all the cities. A lot of people don't like it, but you know, it really did add protection. It was for the higher good. So it's an unpopular decision that saved lives. That's an example of that in real time. Seven of Pentacles, we're all feeling this on some levels. This is fear over resources, wondering if you'll make it. An encouragement though, when we look at these three cards, is that you can do it. You're resourceful, you're intelligent, you're able to say no and bring balance. And I think that just by not overindulging, you can make it. Asking for help is also key, whether that's alone or some other type of engagement with someone else. Feels like there's a helping hand, or there's energy of support. This could also just be reaching out for help if you're feeling sad or overwhelmed. Talking to a therapist or calling a hotline, that's important as well. Finally, Six of Pentacles tells me that when this is all said and done, whether it's June 2020 or a lot of times when we're looking at these spreads, it can span 3 months. So looking at the end of summer, for instance, this is just showing that we do see balance coming through eventually. Your thoughts create a reality and create energy and opportunity around you. So go to the higher energy. Focus on family, on children, supporting them, and also cherishing and supporting your inner child too. For those of you that may not have children, it's just really about making sure that you're having fun and getting into that energy of dreaming and possibilities. There's a chance to heal relationships with parents and children. There's a chance to heal relationships with partnerships, especially when it comes to power dynamics. There's also a chance to expand your family if you want to. Expect things could happen faster. Expect that there could be some sort of, it says miracle, so let's use the word miracle, a miraculous sort of shift or turnaround. So I believe that possibilities, you don't want to limit how much something can change or shift. Really think and dream big, and I think that's going to serve you well. Let me just take a drink here, and then we're going to go into the expanded look at where you can heal, how you can change. And then we'll use that in our meditation. Okay, so we're going to do past, present, and future influences in respect to healing. And as I said, healing can be in many different parts of your life. Let's just let the cards take us down the path and see where we're going. All right, so we're going straight to any sort of codependent relationships that might be existing in your life. For some of you, this can also indicate addictions. Sometimes I actually like that this devil card is not so much about the devil. It's actually about overindulgence. We look at this and it almost reminds me of what you might see with the Nine of Cups card, which is going too far in any direction. And I think the other thing here is not paying attention or empathizing with the people around you. So sometimes with the devil, it is sort of like, it can be someone in control that isn't really tuned into the higher good. So if there's someone in your life, this could be a parent, a boss, or someone who has had power in the past with you, since we saw control dynamics coming through in a strong way. I want you to look at that relationship and think, was there a reason, or was there some sort of energy that called it into my life? What did I learn from that? How can I now take that and empower myself? And also step away from that. It's in the past. The devil can be an addiction. It can also be a limiting thought or a limiting activity or in a limiting environment. If you're feeling pulled back, I mean, I usually focus on the chains. I don't actually see, it's kind of in the hands here of the devil here. But usually chains are the key thing that I focus on. So what is holding you back? And for each of you, that's going to be something different. I just listed some examples, but whatever your particular sort of like limit or sort of constraint is, this is your chance to say enough is enough and stand up for yourself. And we see one person kind of doing that. So work on that energy of being able to let it go. And I think that's going to be really key to you. Okay. The interesting thing is when I don't have the Lover's card here to contrast it with, and you really should look at it with Rider-Waite-Smith. But if you look at the Devil and the Lover's cards, they're almost identical, except for one has an angel, one has the devil. The colors are light versus dark. And instead of being in the Garden of Eden, they're being chained. And it's obviously, but everything else about the picture is very, very similar. So there's always an ability to go from that negative way to kind of elevating and helping people see the higher energy. So go back to love. And actually says this here in your Destiny card, love, only love is real. If we can always take it back to a place of love, that's one of the key ways that you can dissolve the energy that is symbolized by the devil. I was talking to a client the other day about, in order to be a light worker, you have to be able to look at shadow elements of your life. And it's hard, right? Because it can be some of the things that I talked about, but when you understand what you went through, what makes you tick, and what you still need to work on, you can resolve that and get into a higher energy, which will then allow you to be a clearer channel. So if you're starting to wake up, it may be coming through in dreams, but you'll start to see some of those things that might make you afraid or whatever, and they're there to teach you. Once you go into that energy and say, I've got this, then those shadows go away. Okay, this is a time for change. Even though I was looking at other messages besides change, we have death coming through. This is the end and the beginning of cycles, much like the World card, much like the Fool card. Death is not something to be feared when we're looking at how to heal. But for those of you that might be dealing with loss, this card can be literal. We can't avoid the literal connotations of death. And one of the things that's been happening with this pandemic is this feeling of, am I happy with where I'm at in my life? Because death is that other side that we have to look at. So if you've been faced with, questions of mortality, life purpose, and life balance, and life satisfaction, then this is a really crucial point for you to decide what next then. Notice how death is not reaping here. It's actually reaching out its hand saying, let me help you. Let me help you transition through something. It doesn't literally have to be the end of your life. It could be a difficult relationship. It could be a difficult situation that's going on, and it's saying, there's a better path. Let me show you. So I've actually found sometimes transformation or death angels can be very, very healing and very helpful. And what it's just trying to do is help you release something. These two go hand in hand. So for some of you, you're walking away from something. You've got to let it go. And there's a mourning process too. So for those of you that are letting go of an addiction, a codependency, a bad relationship, you have to, once you realize what needs to be left, then, and once you kind of let go of that, then you open a portal to something new. So for some of you, it's just releasing something, and there's a fear like, what else will there be in my life? So let's see where this is all headed. Let's see what the portal is for you. We have the Ace of Pentacles. New job, new baby, new relationship, a lot of great things that can come with this. It's basically a seed, and I love that you're actually seeing someone plant that seed in the ground there. So in order to make way for something, it's necessary to let go of something that you realize is no longer in your highest interest. So yeah, there's a chance for something new. You are constantly inventing, adjusting, and creating that reality. So what is it that you want to create? What is it that you want to see? It's there, but it's going to require a little bit of work. I like that this particular ace card is not just being handed to you by the heavens. This one is saying, okay, I have to work a little bit on this. And for some of you, that could be going back to school. For others of you, you might have to push against what's expected. The Six of Wands can sometimes be peer pressure, societal pressure, or that sort of big push from others. So you've got to do what's right for you. Okay, let's go ahead now and focus on the meditation. And I like this energy. I like what I'm seeing in this card here. So we're going to maybe meditate. This looks like it's autumn. I want to do it with spring because I think it'll be a little bit stronger. But I guess, you know what, with autumn, it's interesting. If for those of you that are gardeners, sometimes you plant a bulb and it can weather the storm. You basically overwinter it. And then in the spring, it grows. So, all right, we'll work with it. We'll think of a nice autumn day for this meditation. We'll go through the winter and then we'll come into the spring, okay? Everybody take a nice deep breath like I just did. Close your eyes, find a comfortably seated position, or you can just lay down if you'd like to and listen to the sound of my voice. I'd like you to just focus on first letting go of everything that you might be holding on to, whether it's the tension in your shoulders, the heavy thoughts that might be in your head, or maybe even the energy that might be in your heart space. Lean back, let the earth support you, and allow for this to be an offering, just like you're going to be planting a seed or some sort of a dream in a moment that will grow for the spring. Right now, since it's kind of like the fall energy to start with, I want you to think of something that you're ready to let go of. And with each breath that you take, feel that you are giving this as an offering. Thank you, God, universe, earth, for giving me this lesson, giving me this energy, giving me this thought. It no longer serves me. And as tough as it may be for me to let it go, I know it's for the best. And I'm ready to turn a new page. So I'm giving this energy to you. I'm going to ground this energy, take it out of my being, or if you'd like to give it to the sun, you can do that too. Just somehow let it go from your body. And just say, basically, I'm ready to release this energy so that I can be something more, so that I can open up my heart and my soul to receive more abundance, higher energy, higher frequency, a better tribe. Take a nice deep breath, honor that lesson, and let it go. And now with this open energy that's in your heart, imagine that you might even take your hands and rub them together. Start to feel the energy, the power, the creative energy that you've always had. Imagine that you can kind of create this orb of light or this sort of sphere of energy. And if you'd like, you can either plant it in the ground, or better yet, plant it in your own person, in your body, in your heart. And I want you to add with this the thought that I'm ready now for something even better than I could dream, possible, even quicker than I thought it could happen. And infuse in this what it is that you want, whether it's love, success, better relationships, more understanding of who you are, spiritual growth, all of the above. See it in there. And I'm going to play the singing bowl for a second, and then I'm going to let you put it in your body, and then we'll finish that up, and then we'll stop the meditation. So let the energy grow for a moment. Really see what you're trying to create, almost like the Two of Wands. And then either while I'm playing this, or we'll pause at one point, you can put it into your heart space. So just allow the energy to grow. If you haven't already done this, you can actually bring that energy into your heart space now and allow for this to seal it off, knowing that you're planting a seed of possibility. And we'll take a last breath here to really allow for that to start to grow within your life, to show up wherever it needs to show up. Okay. Take one last deep breath here, and I'd like you to just look up at the sun above you, receive its rays of sunshine, of love, allow it to fill you up. If there's any part of you that feels like it needs a healing, allow the energy to go in there. And now see this seed of hope, this new future that you've created start to grow in your heart, and know that it will show up in your life when you're ready. So always keep that possibility, and when you're ready, say it to the universe and expect it to show up. Take one last deep breath. Let it go. Gently open your eyes. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. We had some really powerful messages about being able to grow, to let go of things. And there's a message here that you can really kind of like manage whatever you want in your life here. The Six of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles are the two cards that I'm focusing on, because Six of Pentacles was the final card in the Celtic Cross, and the Ace of Pentacles was the final card when we were looking at where you could heal. And to me, they're both resources and possibilities. So focus on that possibility and decide now, whenever you listen to this reading, whether it's in June or before June or after it, if you're listening later in the year, that now is the time that you're going to invest in yourself, that you're going to make a change for the better, that you're going to allow yourself to dream. You're going to move towards that dream and move with that energy of transformation that we saw. And I think if you do that, you're going to be in a great place. I'd like to take a couple moments here just to let you know how you can stay in touch with me if you'd like to. The first and the easiest way is actually, everything that I'm going to talk about is available on my website. So you can just go to nicholasashbaugh.com, and on that website is information on how to connect on social media, book an appointment. If you're just curious, there's FAQs and other things there. Great resource in general. So feel free to go there if you'd like to. I'd like to thank everybody that has been kind enough to do super chats. I'll call you out after this is on replay. And I just want to say thank you again. You allowed me to buy the cards that you were seeing today, and you make it all possible. So I appreciate it. If you would like to join me on social media, my Facebook page is the same as YouTube. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh is the username. I have two. Don't follow me on my personal one. Follow me on my professional one. And so the link is on my social feed. I say that because there's more information on the professional one, and I don't answer the messages on the personal one. So go to the professional one, and you can also connect with me on Patreon. And Patreon is a lot like the join button here, where it allows you to contribute any amount per month that you would like, starting with $1, and it helps me buy supplies and just do what I do here. So thank you for those of you that want to do that. I'm also on Instagram. My name is just separated with an underscore there, Nicholas_Ashbaugh. I use stories on Instagram. I also use them on Facebook. Stories are just a nice way to remember what I'm doing today and what I'm doing tomorrow. And you can usually click through straight to the video. So very great way to kind of follow me. And I also use Twitter to remind you what's coming up. For those of you that prefer just using an older school method, you can use PayPal. It's paypal.me/Nicholas Ashbaugh. To make sure that you've got all those addresses right, just go to my website, nicholasashbaugh.com. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up, for making some time today, especially for those of you where this is the first time that you joined live. I'm so happy that you were able to make it today. And Apollo is asleep after the meditation, but a lot of love from both of us. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back again tomorrow reading for Taurus. And then again on Sunday. You can check out the whole schedule on my website as well. All right. Thanks again, everybody. I'll see you soon. Thanks to Ryan and Maria as well for keeping everything organized. And thanks to all of you for making this worth my time and energy too. I appreciate you. All right. See you soon. Thanks again. Bye, guys.